Good evening. Have your bolster, if not a block, come down onto your back. And just start off by putting it underneath the back of your thighs. So when you come down, it's there for you to reach. And lift your hips and then pull it underneath the back of your hips. Wriggle it a little bit so it feels level. And place your hips down onto your block or your bolster. We're going to keep the legs bent for now, feet flat on the floor and arms down by your side. Let your palms turn up. Turn the shoulders under just a little, so there's a slight rise in the side walls of your chest. Slight tuck of the chin. And you're just breathing smoothly to begin with and feeling into the flow of your breath. Feeling like each breath is an invitation for this, a reminder of the precious gift of life. And your breath is an intrinsic part of this. So as you breathe, feeling that connection to your life. Life moving through you. Also, if we think that the air around us that we breathe is the air of the universe, it's part of creation. It's part of space. It's part of the unknown. So as we breathe in and as we breathe out, we're also connecting to this great source around us. Connecting to the space directly around us and beyond, like an invitation of the universe connecting with your body. Stay bent with your left leg and just straighten your right leg out so the front of your right hip gets a bit longer. Push away through the heel. Toes are pointing up toward the ceiling. You can stay like that, or you could take your arms up overhead, holding onto opposite hands or maybe even opposite elbows. Another breath. Bring your arms back down so your elbows press into the floor, and as you push into your elbows, lift the left knee in and see if you can get your hands around the back of the left thigh and just gently draw the left leg in towards you. Keep pushing away through the right heel and keep the shoulders or shoulder blades under slightly so they're almost propping up the back of your chest away from the floor. Return your left foot to the floor and then bend your right leg in, so both feet to the ground, then straightening your left leg out. And keep your right foot on the floor for now. Push away through the left heel, and again, you could take your arms overhead, holding onto hands, wrists, or elbows. If you can't get your arms to connect, it's fine. Just take them out wide instead, giving your shoulders a bit more space. See what feels okay for you. Breathe long down the front left side of your body. Feel like your breath is untangling any knots, blockages, resistance you feel within you. Like you would brush your hair smooth and untangled. Let your breath brush through your body. One more breath. Then bring your elbows down by your side. Push into your elbows and lift your right leg in. Hands behind the back of the right thigh and draw it towards you. You don't have to give it a really strong yank. Just a little bit of pressure with your hands, just so it's guided in a bit more than it would fall naturally on its own. Keep pressing away through the left heel, toes are up. Right foot goes flat to the floor, and then the left foot comes in flat to the floor. So you're back to that starting position we were in. Let your arms release. Now straighten your right, then your left legs, so both legs end up straight. And again, take your arms over. Even though the arms have gone overhead, still feel that the shoulder blades have the capacity to help support underneath the back of your chest. Lengthening through the inner seam of your legs, drawing up a little through the outside edge of your foot. Bend one leg foot flat, and then the other. As your arms come down, push the bolster out from underneath your bottom towards your feet, and then make your way down with your feet resting on the bolster. And if you were using a block and you've taken it to the side, just put your feet flat on the floor. Take a moment with your feet flat on the bolster or floor and your pelvis landing, and the weight of your legs sinking into your hip bones and the back of the pelvis firm on the floor. Continue to push the bolster all the way off your mat until you've got the space down at the bottom end of your mat free. Move your bottom a fraction off to the right. Straighten out your left leg, toes point up. Bring your right knee and left hand together and take your knee across. Extend your right arm out and look over to your right arm, feeling your right hip floating higher and higher until it might stack on top of your left hip. Continue to turn your chest toward the right arm, so the pelvis turns one way and the chest remains central. Come back into center and place both feet flat on the floor, moving your bottom slightly off to the left. Straighten out your right leg, and then bring your right hand and your left knee together. As you take the twist the other way, look over to your left arm. Try and keep the back of your chest as flat as you can as the pelvis tips over to the right. So the left hip ends up stacking more and more on top of your right hip. Breathe into the diagonal extensions out through your body. So breathing out from the left arm, right across to the left knee. On an inhale, push into your right elbow for support as you come up. Both feet to the floor, and you just move everything back to the center. Bring one knee towards you, then the second knee, so that both legs are in and the hands behind the back of your thighs, so you can just guide the legs in that little bit closer, but at the same time try and press your bottom as flat to the floor as you can. If you want to go a bit further with that, your arms can come around the shins. Maybe you hold onto opposite wrists or possibly opposite elbows, but try and keep working your bottom down so the spine remains long down the length of your mat. Feet are flexed, toes are pointing up. See how wide you can keep the back four corners of your body, the back of the hips and the back of your shoulders. Let your knees widen and bring your arms inside the legs. Reach down to the outside edges of your feet, so you're reaching over the shin bones to the outside edges of your feet. And with your knees wide, then start to lift your feet like they're trying to come directly up above your knees. Happy baby pose. Pulling gently down on the feet and encouraging your knees to go wider toward the floor. Continue to try and keep the back four corners of your back on the ground. Back of the hips, back of the shoulders, slight tuck of the chin. Take your feet down to the floor. Let them just land so they're hip distance apart, and cross your right ankle onto your left knee, so your right knee falls away from the right shoulder. Keep the hips as level as you can as you bring the left leg in. First, start holding off behind the left thigh and guide that left leg in towards you until you feel your right hip and buttock area speaking to you. Once you get a signal of, I've got enough stretch and enough openness in that right buttock, thigh, hip area, then just pause there. If you don't get much and you want to go a bit further, you can bring your hands around the left shin bone and squeeze in a bit more by holding at the left shin. But if your bottom ends up coming off the ground from doing that, then you want to go back behind the thigh again. Try and keep your bottom down. When I say your bottom, I mean the bottom end of your spine, the bottom end of your back. Place your left foot to the floor. Right knee bends above the right hip. Hold the back of the right thigh and lift your head and shoulders off the ground so you're looking straight down the gap of your legs. Keep hold of this leg and apply a little bit of abdominal contraction. So you're feeling like the abdominal muscles are keeping you curled up and they're holding that leg in place. Then extend your left leg away. You can have the left leg so it's just off the ground. Feet are now pointed. See if you can keep the back of the shoulder blades off the floor and then release your arms. Keep your gaze down the midline of your mat or the midline of your legs. Keep the front ribs so that they press downwards toward the belly. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Bring both knees in and your head to the floor. Turn your head left and right, looking side to side. When you come back to center, place your right foot on the floor and cross your left ankle onto your right knee. Just let the left thigh drop wider, so left knee away from left shoulder. Check your hip bones are level, and then bring the right leg in, hands behind the back of the right thigh. Elbows draw out wide as you draw the right leg in, and maybe the left elbow is just gently pressing inside the left inner thigh. Again, you can go for the option of holding around the right shin, but try and keep your bottom down. And make sure the head hasn't fallen back. If the head falls back, that's a sign that the stretch in your hip is pulling all the way up through your back and pulling the back of the neck, the base of the skull being pulled down. So that whole back line of tissue now is shortening in your neck. So if that's happening, you release the leg a bit further away and get your back to square on the mat. When your right foot goes back to the floor, bend the left knee so it's above your left hip. Hands behind the left thigh and curl your head and shoulders up. Again, pull a little on the leg just to help lift the shoulder blades and then use your abdominal muscles to stay here. Extend the right leg. Feet are pointed. Keep your abdominal muscles switched on, and if you can, extend the arms without the shoulders falling back to the floor. If the shoulders fall to the floor and you keep your head lifted, you're going to feel it's really strong and difficult in your neck. So try and peel up the upper back, and then your head can come up with more ease. 2 more breaths. Both knees into your chest, head to the floor, look right, look left. And then bring your head to center. Hold the back of both thighs, lift your head and shoulders, press your legs into your hands and just rock a little on your spine. As you rock on your spine, you'll quite quickly feel whether this rolling motion will be comfortable enough for you to roll all the way up. And if it isn't, then you just turn over to your side and make your way up from your side. Once you're up to sitting, can you straighten your legs out in front of you? Push into the ground and lift up tall through your spine. Then bring the soles of your feet together, push into the ground and lift tall through the spine, sending the waist forwards, feeling your shoulder blades supporting and lifting the back of your chest. Then pop your feet out a little wider, toes turned out, push in the ground behind and see if you can lift your hips and maybe just come forwards from there into a squat position with your elbows inside your knees. If you can't get to it from that lift, then you can just come round and access it from the other direction. We're facing the bolster end of the mat still. Walk your hands out in front of you and come onto hands and knees. Keep your hips directly above your knees and then start to walk your hands a little further out in front. Inhale as you lift your chest up away from the floor and exhale as you sink your chest toward the floor. Inhale, chest pulls away from the floor. Exhale, chest toward the floor. Do that a couple more times, moving a little closer to the ground each time. One more. Inhale, chest away from the floor. Exhale, chest toward the floor, and you could land this time on your forehead and walk your arms nice and long out in front of you. Little fingers touching the outer edges of your mat. You can go wider with the arms if you need to. Keep your sit bones reaching up toward the sky. Each exhale, continue to feel the compressing of your torso into the gap underneath. Sometimes this is called heart melting pose, so you can give that feeling of your heart melting toward the floor. Drop your elbows to the ground, shift your weight forwards so you're in a sphinx position. Keep your hands out wide, elbows in a bit narrower than your hands. So hands are out wide on the mat, elbows a little narrower. If you struggle to be this high, then take your arms further forwards. Press into your hands and see if you can press so the elbows come off the ground, and inhale as you go back down again. Firm your belly to the spine a little so when you lift, your tummy muscles are lightly engaged. Inhaling as you press, exhaling as you lower. Legs are nice and long. One more time. Inhale, press. Exhale, lower all the way down. Rest your head on your left hand. Bend your right leg and catch hold of your right foot. Rolling the right shoulder back to help your arm feel longer. If you can't get hold of your foot, maybe you could just get your fingers into your trouser band, or you could wrap a strap around your foot. Press the top of your right thigh a little bit deeper toward the mat and stretch your right knee away. Feel your right thigh bone like it's trying to grow another few millimeters down the back end of the mat. Switch sides. If the left thigh bone has gone out wide, once you've got hold, try and bring the thigh bone back in so it's straight down from the hip line. We feel a heaviness in the front of the thigh, into the top of the thigh, and then a reaching, a lengthening, like a growing down the knee end of the thigh. Then release that leg. Place both hands by the sides of your rib cage. Get the legs really long, engaging the knees. Roll your shoulders back toward the elbows and then lift your chest. Firm the belly slightly, press lightly into your hands and keep the legs long, the belly engaged. Cobra pose. Lower cobra back down. Tuck your toes under. Push your bottom onto your heels with your toes tucked. So it's a child's pose but with the toes tucked under. Walk your hands out in front, hips as far back as you can go. Push the mat with your hands and see if that can help press more weight back toward the heels. And then really pressing and engaging your hands into the mat as you lift just a little and roll over the balls of your feet into a downward facing dog. Relax your head. Then take your right leg and lift it up in the air behind you. Look forwards to your right hand. And when you step your right foot forwards, just lift your right hand out the way so your foot lands where your hand was. And if it gets jammed on the floor halfway, you pick the foot up and step it forwards with your hand. Back knee to the ground, hands on your right thigh, and tuck the back knee back a little further. As you bring both hands onto your right thigh, lift your chest. The back toes can be tucked or pointed. And if you need to grab something softer underneath your back knee, which I do, then you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so place your left hand down to the floor. Feel free to use a block if you need to. Continue to have that left knee further back on the mat so you get a nice long line in the front of the left hip. Right hand either touching the back of your right hip, the back of the left thigh, or some of you could bend the back leg and draw the foot towards you, holding onto the back foot or ankle. Let your arm be longer by your shoulder rolling back as you reach for the foot. If you're reaching for the foot and you're trying to pull it towards you by kind of yanking from the back of the leg, then you might get cramps. So if the foot doesn't arrive to your hand, leave it on the floor and just keep your hand on that back leg. Swoosh your right arm all the way back round and replace your right hand where the right foot is. And then let's lift the back knee and step to plank position. Line your shoulders over your wrists. Lift your hips up high, downward facing dog. Now take the left leg in the air as you inhale. Step your left foot in place of your left hand. So look at your left hand, lift it as the foot arrives, drop your back knee down to the ground, both hands onto your left thigh. If your stance is too short and you end up lunging a bit like this, where your knee goes past your ankle, one, you won't get much length in this front right side and your balance will be harder. So a decent size stride so you can lunge, then the knee lines with your ankle. And then the front of the right side is longer. Hug the belly in, lift the chest up. Right hand down onto the floor where your right hand would have been earlier, and shift the right knee back a bit further. You can put the left hand on your left hip, on the back of your right thigh, or you can bend the leg and catch hold of your foot. Again, see what works best for you. We can give a little squeeze of the left knee and right shoulder towards each other so that gap doesn't gape wider than the mat. Release your back foot, place your left hand where your left foot is, lift your back knee and step to plank. Looking just ahead of your hands, so maybe taking your gaze to the top line of your mat, drawing your face away from the floor so your head lines with your spine. Downward facing dog. Turn your toes slightly out, walk your hands all the way back, and come back down into the squat position, elbows inside the knees, hands into a prayer. If the knees are sensitive, place your hands on the floor and straighten your legs with your hands supporting you, and then hands to hips and come up. Otherwise, push all the way up without using your arms, so your leg strength presses you up. And bring your feet into hip distance apart. I'm going to turn to face you, but you can stay as you are. Balance down through your right leg and take your left hand and left ankle together. Push nice and tall from your right leg up to the top of your head. Start to push the left foot back into your left hand. So as the left foot presses back into your hand, you're starting to lift the back thigh and tip your chest forward slightly as you bend in your standing hip. Bend your right arm out in front. Come back to standing with one leg, and then return your left foot to the floor. Balance on your left leg. Take your right hand to the right foot. And again, you can hold the foot, the ankle, or you could put a strap around your foot and start to press the right thigh bone back. Hug your belly slightly. Start to kick the foot up higher so the leg is pressing into your arm. Extend the left arm out in front. Come back to standing on one leg. And return your foot to the floor. Lift your arms all the way up with an inhale. Look up towards your hands. Bring your hands to a prayer position at your chest as you exhale and bend your knees so your hips sit straight back. Again, extend your arms with an inhale, keeping your hips back. And then place your hands onto the floor as you exhale and come down onto hands and knees. So coming into the yin phase, first of all, coming into child's pose, take your block or your bolster and we'll pop that between the legs so your knees can go wide, sitting on your feet and your heels, and then lay yourself down onto the bolster. We'll do a minute with our head turned each way. So let's start on one cheek. Arms can just kind of hug around the bolster a little, relax your shoulders. So it's maybe for some of you, you won't feel a deep edge in this. It's more almost restful, restorative. It's a nice antidote to doing back bends, like the last pose you did, Natarajanasana, dancer's pose, especially when we've done one-sided things. So this now brings balance into the pelvis. And then lift your head and turn it the other way. Bring your head back to center and come up to hands and knees. Take your bolster up to the top end of your mat, so it's in front of you. Put your hands on it. Move your knees back a little, so your hips directly over your knees, and then lower down. So you could put your head on a block if you wanted to. And we've got the hands or the forearms resting on the bolster for a deeper option with the arms. If you remember, we did this pose earlier without the bolster or any blocks. So by all means, push it away and have your arms just flat on the ground without being raised. And then relax into it. Let there be a nice heaviness into the chest, sinking forwards, downwards. A pointiness to the tailbone which reaches upwards. A decompression in the lower spine. And mobilizing the lungs, chest, upper back. Feel your breath becomes your inner teacher. It really feels with sensitivity and guidance, almost like there's an intuitive flow in your breath, feeding back to you and responding based on the feedback from your breath. Do you back out a little? Do you go a bit deeper? Make your way up from there. And then just bring your legs round in front of you and sit for a moment with the bolster underneath the back of your knees or the back of your thighs, and tilt forwards just enough that your forearms can rest either on your legs or on your bolster. And then allow yourself to melt a bit further down, forwards, over your legs, into the bolster. Your head come down as far as it wants to. You can always put a block between your inner knees if you need to give a little bit more support for your head. A block could stack up there for your head to rest on. Sit bones are back slightly. Just a nice release from the last pause. No tension, but almost no effort in your body. And then make your way up. Bend the legs in a bit more, pull the bolster in towards you. Now, you've got a choice here. You can either sit on your bolster, or turn around a little. You can sit on your bolster and cross your right shin in front of your left shin with the feet flexed. That's a really good one to do if your hips are tight, to sit up high. If the knees need some support, you can put cushions in these gaps or blocks. If you don't need to use the bolster to sit on, you can move that out of the way and come down with the shins crossed. Moving forwards, tipping from the hips. Your hands might rest on your legs. They might come to the floor in front of you. We can always have the bolster in front to rest on as well. No rush to get anywhere. Feel the unhurried nature in the pose, in your approach to the pose, physically and mentally. Easy and calm. Make your way up. Cross the legs the other way. So just a brief reach out, knees straighten, and then left shin in front. Cross at the shins rather than your ankles. So work your feet across so they're about level with your knees. Use anything you need to, any blocks or props, cushions, a folded blanket, whatever you might need to support the knees, and then go forwards. Where do your hips honestly take you to. Not about trying to reach your head further forwards, like that's going to make a deeper hip opener, but folding at the hips. This is a hip opener, so move from the hip joints. Yes, there is a relationship between what you're going to feel in your back and other places in your body, but essentially we're opening into the hips. Breathe into your hips. Yield to your exhales, where your whole body dives in a little bit deeper. You might not move anywhere, but you feel this inner surrendering, deepening your connection to the pose, even if you don't move deeper into it visually. Remind yourself of the breath being like a brush brushing through hair. Your breath brushing through the tangles, resistance, and knots that might develop. As if you become silkier inside. On an inhale, make your way. And then as you come up, lean back a little to release the legs, straighten them out. Fingers pressed wide and lift up through your spine. Press out evenly through your legs. Reach and open evenly through all your toes. Bend the knees in towards you. Take your bolster underneath the back of your knees again. And then make your way down onto your back so that your legs can rest over the bolster. Turn your palms up, slight tuck of the chin, and relax. Think of all the energy you give out during your day to other people, to your job, to your duties in life, all that outward giving energy. And now as you relax and open up, feel your energy is replenished. Like imagine the universe is this field of energy that can restore you. Open up your heart and every cell as if the universal energy pours into your body. you have a bit longer and you'd like to stay a bit longer, do. Otherwise, feet in, push the bolster away. And then with knees bent, turn onto your side. With eyes low so you don't get distracted, push your way up. Bring your palms together at the center of your chest and bow to your hands. Bow to your heart. Bow so your intellect meets wisdom. Bow and smile upon yourself, thanking your body, thanking your breath, and anything else that took part this evening. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you.